How do you become an Android developer? What are the benefits of working for a collaborative developer environment? Well, guys, if that is something that you've been curious about, in this episode of Bitscast, I have Nipun Agrawal. He is the ex-coordinator of DevSoc Bits Goa, and he's actually an Android developer. He has made multiple apps. He has participated in multiple hackathons, and he's currently interning at MathWorks. And so, in this video, we'll be talking about exactly how he started his journey into software development. How did he learn Android development? And what are the benefits of working in a collaborative developer environment, as he is the coordinator of Developer Society of Bitscoa, and a lot more in this video on Bitscast. Make sure that you watch till the very end. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys. Like this video, and let's jump into the episode now. Hi Nipun, thanks a lot for joining me here for this podcast episode. I'm really grateful to talk to you on this podcast. I've been wanting to interview you from a long time, and it's finally happening. How are you doing there in this work from
Okay.
home environment right now?
Thank you so much. So, going pretty good, I would say. Like, we don't have this much productivity in campus, what we are doing right now. So, it's going pretty good in that sense. Even, I'm exploring new skills right now. So, that's how it's going. Plus, slightly bored. I do miss campus.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we all of us know that you are, a Cordy of Bitsco DevSoc, and you're also in going into fourth year. But we don't know where you started off, right? So tell me a little about what was your journey like, develop into software development and Android that you're learning right now. What was that
Yeah.
journey like?
So, I would say I actually started development or probably coding when I was probably in my 8th or ninth standard. So that's where I actually first started with there was a tool called Visual Basic. So I used to make like a very normal applications and like some normal basic management applications and all that actually generated a spark in me ki yeah, this is something where I can actually let my creativity on. So that's how
Mm-hmm.
it started. Then in campus during my first year, I like came across through Mac, that what desktop was before. So
Yeah.
that was like mobile application club. So they taught me Android development initially.
Mm-hmm.
From there, I started ki I think development is something which can help me to get my creativity live into something, into a product which I can help people to use. So that's what actually motivated me to start into development and to start exploring with it. So I first started with Android, went pretty well with it. I had my first internship probably like by the end of the first year in summers. That was a completely Android-based internship. Then I switched on to the full stack development. Then I switched on to blockchain, some UI UX, and then I tried to integrate everything into one. So that's how it started.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and talking about internships, what would you advise people that are looking out for internships into software development? How do you get internships?
See, I would say there are two type of internships. If you are targeting very big companies, I would say it's better if you have good your DSS skills and like the normal algorithm skills and all. But
Yeah.
let's say if you're targeting some small based startups which have a better development exposure, I feel, then it's better you grasp some good knowledge about development skills. So either you go for a backend development, a front end development, or maybe even some like scripting libraries like Python and all. So that is the thing. But it's always better to have a good projects and something which you can show to them. Yeah, this is something which I made. This is something which is
Mm-hmm.
beyond my creativity. See, the thing is, companies are looking more for the people those who are creative in the sense. Like they know they have a slightly out of box thinking how I can convert something into another. That's what I feel is actually is a buzz thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And like if you start some tool, I would say like what I observed thing in our campus is like people started some of the I would say technology. They go invest 1 month in it and then they just leave it, which I don't feel is a good way. It's like if you're investing something, invest 6 months in it, 5, 6 months, get a grasp knowledge of it, then only you will be able to get it. Otherwise, initial things for every development skill is very tough. Like when you switch things, initially it's gonna be very tough because that is where you are newly changed. So recently, like I was learning React, so I faced a lot of problems there initially. But then after it started to get smoother and smoother. So I would say if you invest proper time in it, development is not tough at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. And what was your hackathon experience like? You go into a lot of hackathons. You've also won a bunch of them. And so
Yeah.
tell me a little about that. What was that? What is that feeling like when you actually go into a hackathon, code some stuff?
Right. So I actually tell you how this hackathon thing started. So my first hackathon which I actually attended was probably in my second year, first semester. So that was the on campus hackathon conducted by Microsoft. I had no clue at that time how hackathons actually work. So I just went in there. I had a laptop with me, I remember, and no ideas, nothing. There was a guy who told me there who was acting as a mentor, and he told me how are the ways to approach a problem student of hackathon. So at that time, the problem was related to some Uttarakhand floods there was, and they were telling us to provide solutions to it. So they told us how you actually approach a problem dynamically, like how you approach any of the problem and how you get your skills into it. That is what actually motivated me to attend more and more hackathons, and that's how the thing started. So that was my first hackathon. I couldn't won it exactly, but yeah. After that, I went to there was another hackathon, probably by Microsoft, which I remember, that we won on campus, and that was on the blockchain-based election system. So we
Yeah.
created an election system on the basis of blockchain, and we won the second prize in that. Then the thing started. Yeah, this is something where you actually get the adrenal rush, right? When you start learning things. So that's where the thing started. Then the next big hackathon which I actually went was In-Out, which is like India's biggest community hackathon. So that was a live 2 day hackathon in Bangalore. So they had all our actos, food and everything free, and like you get energy drinks and all probably after every 1 hour and all. So that was, I would say, one of the best hackathon experiences. I would say, like you are going there, you have unlimited supplies of food, you have unlimited supplies of drinks, you're just drinking, coding. I remember I
Hmm.
had a like 40 hours straight away coding streak there. That was my highest ever,
Oh my God.
and we won that event also. So,
Yeah.
and we got a pretty good prize as well. So, we were not expecting at all because that was like we were trying something very weirdly thinking. Like the concept was very weird, and probably that's why we won it. So, yeah, so it's all about like how good and how out of the box you can think about hackathons.
Hmm. And what is the one thing that judges look into when they are judging your particular app that you have built after at the
So,
end of the hackathon?
right. So based on my experience, I feel it's more towards like as far as I think like what I grasp from my experience, there are basically three things they're working upon. So they're looking for first is your idea. Like the better your idea is, the best it is. Right. So in the sense ki how different from the normal league it is. So I will give you example of let's say the election system. So most of the people were thinking about in the election system to store like to make the store votes and all, like make a normal online application to cast votes. There was a team which actually thought of how I can implement blockchain on EVM. That is something which is very different from all other people were thinking, which I feel is very important for your getting a good grasp is your weird idea, how weird it is and how good it is. The second thing which comes is people actually underestimate it, but it's actually UI UX. Like I feel the hackathons that I won was because of a good UI UX I was presenting there. How you present your product is what matters the most.
Yeah.
So that is the second thing. And third thing, which I think is development also. How good technologies you are using, how scalable your product is, how better you are optimizing your code and all, which you cannot easily show in hackathon, but while presenting you can obviously feature. I feel these three
Hmm.
things are the ones judges always look for it.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot for that. And I'm actually really curious to know that obviously you're the head of DevSoc right now. So I want to
Right.
know how has being in DevSoc in a developer community helped you in learning these skills?
Yeah, so that I would say like that this one actually had a very big hand in making me like realizing what a management position and a technical position handling simultaneously. So before when we were Mac, actually we were only in sort of developing only specific fields. Like we have a bunch of Android developers, we had a bunch of web developers, that's it. But when we transitioned from desktop, the main aim was to have a full, I would say, like a complete solution for all developers in the campus. So we divided into major segments. So we had web developers now, we have app developers, we have game dev people, we have IoT, and we have some people exploring blockchain and ML. What I got the most from DevSoc was how to manage people and how to get the most work out of from them. See, the thing is, developers are always there, but it's on them how you motivate them and how you get the most work out of them. That is what I feel DevSoc has given me a lot. Second thing is like how to give a full professional able project like products and all. What happens is initially when we used to work, our products used to crash a lot. Like they used to have, like they were not actually solving a lot of problems. So this time what I targeted was to give products which actually people target, like which is for the campus, like for the people of a campus, how we can make it much better for them, how we can make it a better UI UX for them, how we can make sure that they are don't crash. And getting to that level from scratch is what is, I would say, the biggest stuff for any product development. Because you have to think about all the aspects. You have to think about, okay, whether this will work on this device, whether my servers won't crash, or whether the users that I get doesn't affect my product. So I am going slightly into technical things, but I feel working with this adrenaline rush, working with deadlines, working with such a good team which I have right now. Like the whole thing is just because of the team which I have. The juniors that I have, the senior developers that I have, like they always, whenever I used to say them to work, they always do it. So that's what I feel
Yeah.
is actually changing the things I am. It's not obviously my effort, but it's more towards the effort of everyone who's working.
Mm-hmm.
The
Amazing.
future plan
And
that what
and
we have is probably to be the only developer society and probably release more and more products, hackathons, and getting competitions in us.
Mhm. Amazing. And let's actually talk about freelancing. Have you ever freelanced? And if so, what has your experience been like? And
Yeah.
what would you advise to people that are starting off in this field?
So I was actually working as a freelance developer from last 1.5 year. So I left it probably like at the starting of this semester now because I had some other things to focus upon. But for the people, those who want to start with I will first say what my experience was. So the thing is, freelancing experience is actually a very different type of experience because what you are working for, you're getting paid for it, which I feel is in a sense a very good thing. But there are like as a coin has two sides, there's a negative side of it as well. What happens when you actually do a lot of freelancing is you just get over that money thing. Yeah, I'm only earning money and I'm only working for a company or for my clients. That's it, which is good in a sense, but which is bad in a sense. Like you lost the way of how you want to explore things. I feel
Mhm.
college is the time when you can explore a lot. Like you can explore different things. You can explore about how you can like be as like being in college. You have a cushion support of your parents. You don't have a lot of spendings and all. So you
Yeah.
can work more towards how you can explore your skills, how you can be more dynamic in terms of using any tool. The good thing with freelancing is you actually work on professional projects. So you get the seriousness under you on how you can actually get to the deadlines, like how important deadlines are for a client, how you can be able to give a crash-free product, which is again very important because college level developers actually face a lot of problem of having I would say crash development. Like applications they crash a lot. So
Mm.
if they are able to tackle that also, then that is what freelancing is good for us. How I actually started freelancing was I actually like applied through a mail. So a mail came on a campus from a freelancing company. I applied through that. I went through an interview process for probably 2 or 3 rounds, and then that's how I got selected. So for the people, those who are interested in applying for freelancers, there are many websites there. So there's a freelancing account. Like you can make a freelancing account very easily, and you can go through them. The only thing I would advise to them is make sure that the company or the people that you're working with are legit. Because I have faced many issues with this. Sometimes the company is not legit or the client that I'm working upon is not legit. Like they're not proper payments and all. So just make sure you have a good thing on that. Yes, everything goes pretty well.
Mhm. Great, great. And what are your future plans going on now, like right now in your fourth year, right? And you'll be going for placements and yeah.
Yeah. So currently, like, I'm happy that I have a like an offer from MIT for a thesis. So I will be going for a 6 month thesis break, probably going to be first semester, second semester, and after that, like, I'll be studying for placements. So
Mhm.
like, I'll be going for placements. I'm not interested for a lot of masters right now. Probably, or maybe I can go for a startup.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Now, a couple of episodes before, I actually talked to this guy who is in Google, and then I also talked to someone who was in Microsoft. And so what I
Right.
realized is that they were telling that the experience at these companies is it is so comfortable that they just don't want to go out, and there is just no need for them to come out of that comfortable phase and go into a
Right.
startup ecosystem. And they just make it very comfortable. You have free food, you have everything over there in the campus itself. What do you think
Right.
about that? Is that something that people should
See,
do or like? Yeah.
See, it depends on the perspective that you have. There are actually two types of people again. There's someone who actually wants more type of luxury and more type of a comfort space zones. So, like, you get your lunches in the office, you work only for 10 to 5, you don't work after that. You have pretty good offices, your work skills is very, like, don't have a overload of work, you only work on specific topics. These are the people, those I feel is targeting big companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, and all those companies target on that. But if you're interested in towards more challenging opportunities, which I am interested right now, like where you actually have this thing, okay, I need to make this work, otherwise things gonna end. Like a server got crashed, I need to fix this as soon as I can. Like this new product is launching, I have to be the one who is launching this product. This thing which I feel is more towards startups, like you don't get a lot of luxury and you get out of a comfort zone, which I feel is very important in the start of the career. Like that's what I am right now into it.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So
No,
like
that makes a
the
lot of sense.
exactly. Like the better I think the earlier you get out of your comfort zone, the better you develop and the better you progress. That's what I feel.
Mhm. All right, Nipun, thanks a lot for joining me for this podcast episode. I hope the audience will learn a lot from this, and people that are listening that are in DevStalk will also learn a lot from you. Thanks a lot for joining me. I'd love to
Thank you
have you
so much for
again on this
inviting.
podcast later.
Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting.
Alright guys, that was Nipun Agrawal. I hope you enjoyed this video and this podcast of Bitscast. If you've been enjoying this series so far, make sure that you go to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star rating. It would mean the world to me. And yeah, thank you so much for watching the video till the very end. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys. Like this video. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.